Not long ago, I put out a video on why narcissistic husbands stop having sex with their wives, and I was shocked to see how that video picked up and just about went viral. Almost 1 million views, and I'm not saying this to boast. I'm saying this because of the shock of how many women this resonated with, and men. Men were watching it too. Right? It really just blew up my understanding of the stereotypical dynamic between men and women to understand that so many wives are coming out because their husbands stop having sex. Now, in that video, I offer 4 solid reasons as to why narcissistic husbands stop having sex, and I encourage you to watch this video if you have not yet seen it. But of all the comments that I received on that video, one kept popping up. It said, "Kevin, you left out pornography. Why did you leave out pornography?" Because many wives are dealing with husbands that are lost in pornography, yet denying them of sex. In other words, the husband is choosing pornography over the wife who wants and who desires to have sex with them, or at least at one time did want and desire to have sex with them. And there's a reason why I left this topic out, because this topic deserves its own video, because I'm going to take a deeper dive into this with you to understand not only why narcissistic husbands choose pornography over affection with their wives, but why some of these husbands also would choose a prostitute over their own wives, or choose a massage parlor over their own wives. And on top of that, what makes it really kind of twisted and narcissistic is that the husband will then assure that they love the wife. In fact, would be upset and act heartbroken if the wife wants to leave. How confusing is that, to face that type of rejection, but then be told that they don't want you to go? What's up with that? We're going to talk about it. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Now, before I do continue in this very deep conversation, I want to let you know that I'm here to support you. Down in the description box below this video, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. I do take telephone calls as well as video calls. And by the way, I do talk with couples. So if you are a couple who is struggling right now together, understanding what's going on with the affection, what's going on with the loss of sexuality, and why your husband keeps using pornography instead, let's talk. I don't have all the answers for you, but I'm open to this discussion, especially after you watch this video. I also have a coaching program, by the way, and this month we're focusing on rethinking Christmas. So for those of you who are tired of celebrating Christmas in a way that has brought you anxiety and feelings of obligation and feelings of expectations, and you're tired of it, rethink Christmas with me so that you change the way you experience Christmas from here on out. Get involved in the coaching program. Spend time with me every day while we talk about this. Now, let's get into this topic. There is probably nothing as rejecting to a woman than to be dealing with and living with a husband who is choosing pornography over the real thing. Let's just face it. The fact that they are watching pornography is an indication that they can get aroused. Their unit is functionable, apparently, but it makes no sense as to why they won't use it appropriately. Instead, they use it in pornography by rejecting you. Now, don't get me wrong. Women, I understand. Wives, I know. You are so much more than just sex and affection. Obviously, you're the homemakers. You are the child bearers. You are the nurturing role, in addition to perhaps the moneymaker, right? I get all this. However, this does not mean that it does not sting. There's not a sting to knowing that you're supposed to be the desired one. You're supposed to be the symbol of beauty in the relationship that a husband can't wait to run home just to touch you, right? I'm not trying to get all sappy, but you know what I mean. There's something to that. And when you experience the rejection of that, you have a man who comes home and says, nope, no thanks. And you've tried everything. You have run around in nothing but a t-shirt, begged, pleaded, tried to even run bathwater for him. And there's a reason as to why your efforts of commitment and love caused even further rejection. Now, We're going to get into this. In fact, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm just going to get into it right now. This is why it's a deeper topic. There's something that was discovered by a psychologist. It's a psychoanalytic, part of psychoanalytic literature of yesteryear, right? Prior to the topic of narcissistic abuse being popular, prior to YouTube and people like me talking about toxic families and whatnot and what have you, there was some real psychology being done, right? By the likes of Sigmund Freud. Now, I'm not a big fan of all the stuff out there that Sigmund Freud's and all these other people had to write, but they did stumble upon things. They were looking at things closely, things that we either weren't taught about or have forgotten about. And there is in the literature of Sigmund Freud an actual complex that he had discovered with men called the Madonna whore complex, or called the Madonna mistress complex. Now, what this is the inability to maintain sexual arousal within a committed, loving relationship. All right, so this was first identified by Sigmund Freud, and it goes on to say, okay, it's in men who see women as either saintly Madonnas, that's the Madonna, saintly. That's where love belongs, commitment belongs. Loyalty, respect, honor is in the saintly Madonna, the woman that's the Madonna. Or they see women as debased prostitutes. There's a split. Men with this behavioral complex desire a sexual partner who has been degraded, a whore. This is why pornography is such a turn-on for these narcissistic husbands, because that's where their arousal is. Okay, degraded, the whore. That's where the desire for a sexual partner is. It's with the degraded whore. They cannot desire the respected partner because that's where love and respect is. So you see what's taking place here. It's a complete split in their minds. It's a psychological split. Freud wrote, where such men love, they have no desire. So if a man loves a woman, he'll lose that sexual desire. And where there is desire for a woman, there can't be love. That's the image of a man or a husband who is addicted to porn. No love exists with the woman on the other end of that screen. It's the image of a man in a strip club getting a lap dance. No love exists between the two. It's the image of a man with a prostitute. No love exists. It's just the sexuality. And in and of itself, it's a dirty thing that belongs there. It's split. Whereas the opposite would be love, honor, respect, which is completely on another side that has nothing to do with arousal. In fact, according to Freud, this complex keeps it so that this complex is in such a way that these men cannot be aroused. And this is why you have tried everything as a wife to love and honor and respect. You've tried to do, the more love you tried to give, maybe I'll cook him 4 meals a day, maybe that will work. And you're giving and you're loving and you're doing more and you're doing more, thinking that this will earn affection, when in fact, if you're with somebody with this complex, when you're with a narcissist who has this complex, it does the opposite. The more respectable you show yourself to be, the less aroused they are. Now, I know that this is some mind-blowing weirdness, but the fact that this was written about ages ago means that we need to take it seriously. Now, some of you might be saying, Kevin, I don't know, I'm confused now, because it doesn't sound like it's narcissistic abuse. It sounds like it's a mental disorder. It's a psychological disorder. Well, first of all, the psychological disorder isn't your fault. You didn't create it. So why do you need to suffer as a result of it? Now, when it comes to the narcissistic side of this conversation, sure, fine, okay, it's a complex. I get it. Whatever caused the complex, caused the complex. Maybe some bad childhood experience in your husband's life, whatever. The narcissistic part is in the making sure you stay, where they tell you, no, you can't leave. I love you. I'm committed. We're in a committed relationship, where they're basically telling you, because of my complex, you have to stay. And you have to just accept my love where it's at, even if I never touch you again. That's the narcissistic side. That's the narcissism of a lack of empathy. That's the narcissism of wanting to control and dominate and make sure just because they're suffering in this that you also suffer along with them, and you will. That's where the narcissistic aspect comes in. They expect you to actually know and live knowing that they need pornography to get off, they need prostitutes to get off, they need massage parlors to get off, while you get nothing except just to know that they love you and are committed to you. And that's why you don't arouse them. That's the narcissism. And now, you don't have to live a life like that, and you shouldn't. And now, I know that your heart and your mind is probably heavy right now with a lot that you're thinking about. And it's very hard and it's very sad to know we live in a world where things like this exist, different complexes and different disorders. However, it's important to also know that these things can be resolvable. Certain complexes, certain things like this, if they really want to. That's the other part of the narcissism. This is something I believe that can be fixable. It can be worked out with a little bit of desire. If there's no willingness, then you don't need to suffer alongside of that. Listen, as I said before, I am here to support you. Down in the description box, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. I do take telephone calls as well as video calls, and I talk to couples. So if you're facing this as a couple, and maybe this video speaks to a couple out there who's married, and maybe you realize this is what's happening, head on down there, schedule some time with me. Let's have a discussion on this. All right. I also am available for the coaching program. Now, for those of you who are tired of Christmas being anxiety-filled and obligations and expectations, and you're ready to experience Christmas in a different way, get started in the coaching program. It's not too late. All right. I will be back for more videos. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any future videos. Share this video with somebody who you know is starving of sex in their marriage. They might just benefit from it. I'll be back with more videos right here on the Rowie. Until I'm back, watch one of these videos recommended by the YouTube algorithms. And did I say subscribe? Be sure to subscribe. I'll be back right here on the Rowie. Bye.